So hello, Changemakers. We are here today with somebody near and dear to my heart, Rick Tamlyn, and we're here for a very important reason because we know, don't we, Rick?
Yes.
We know that you are playing a bigger game.
Or it's time for you to play your bigger game. And you don't even know what that jargon means yet, maybe, but we're going to walk you through what that means.
You've joined the Changemakers at Work community because you're up to something and you know that something needs to shift in your world and you'd like to be paid for it. You'd like for it not to be a side gig. You'd like for it to actually take those hours that you work every day, those 129,600 minutes a year, and make them matter in a big way, in a way that matters to your heart and to your future. So my favorite tool for this work is called the bigger game model. It's a 9-square model. And Rick Tamlyn is here to share this model with you and with me. Again, we're here to share it with you together because we have been working this thing for 20 plus years and Rick is the co-creator of this model.
Yeah. So let's do a little bit of a moment of where this came from to kind of give you a context of the birth of this. And I'll make this really brief. So Laura Whitworth, a co-founder of the Coaches Training Institute, a remarkable organization to, stepped into the life coaching space 30 years ago at this point and became a huge, wildly successful life coaching school, leadership development school, by the way, as well. So Laura and I started to talk about what was going on with, let me say it this way, what was happening to our clients who were more successful than others.
Yeah.
And we started to dissect that. And we played with this language of this concept, which turned itself into this model, is the clients who were up to something in their life bigger than they knew how to do and were committed to it and wanted to, quote unquote, impact the planet or the world or their team or their family or their life in some way, shape, or form, took better care of themselves, made more money, actually created better relationships. The game they were up to designed their life.
Yes.
So we dissected that and we came up with these 9 elements, which we're going to walk you through in a minute. They're pretty simple. They're not complicated. However, they do activate an amazing conversation for you and with you and for a team. So that's where this came from. As Melissa said, we've been doing this now for over 20 years. Melissa, you brought me into a number of organizations that you were a part of. We did bigger game workshops for teams, for individuals, as a leadership tool, as a sort of motivational tool, as the difference you want to make tool.
As an innovation tool for teams that at IBM that we were working on innovation that matters in the mid 2000s. And then it became, created a smarter planet, which was, by the way, a bigger game, right? Yep. That Lou Gerstner called from the top of the organization and we all had to figure out how to play. Right. It was a big gulp.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've brought bigger game into every company I've ever worked with. My daughter jokes about it. She says, I know. She says, Mom, you always end up bringing in bigger game in some way, shape, or form. I don't always do it in the formal way, but what I notice is that I get to a certain point in working with an organization and I realize if there's a lack of alignment around and a lack of engagement inside of a team, that there is nothing better than bigger game to ignite that team. Bottoms up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one last thing I want to say about the bigger game is that what I've learned by playing a bigger game for 20 plus years is that we actually don't resist change. We don't resist change. What we resist is the change that's done to us, through us, or at us.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, think about that, right?
Right.
We don't resist change unless it's done to us, through us, or at us. If we become a vehicle for somebody else's bigger game that we didn't buy into, well, it doesn't feel like a bigger game to us. So there's an art to this, right? To activating the hunger for change that's latent in every organization. Go ask any peer, do they want things to be exactly as they are? No, they do not.
Yeah.
They always want something to be different, and it might show up as complaints, but we can turn that complaint into energy.
Right.
And that's the miracle, I think, of this model for me and for the organizations where I've deployed it. So I think you and Laura for creating this model. I know that it was, from my perspective, it was like needing to be born into the world right now.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
you're speaking to its longevity. I mean, it's been 20 years, but the philosophy still applies. And you know, to give you some language all to think about this is a philosophy, a methodology, a model to activate a better conversation about a better future.
yes,
So many times in IBM, when I was leading it there, I said, this is about actually having a better conversation with each other, and an innovative conversation, using your words, an innovative conversation about what do we want to see better, and taking personal or team responsibility for that better.
exactly. Exactly. And for those who are steeped in systems theory, systems change theory, this is a way to reveal the system to itself.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly important, because when we're heads down, go, 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 as we are today, so busy in our own lanes, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we have meetings, but they're very focused on what are we going to do, and what's our strategy at a high level, thinking. But we're not tapping into the heart of the organization very often anymore.
Yeah.
And so this allows us to actually uncover what the heart and the soul of the organization wants through the voices of the system, which are you and me, if we're part of the system.
Right.
And you are part of every team you've ever been part of. You're a voice of the system, and you're impacting the system all of the time.
Yeah.
So this is a framework that you can use to become much better at enabling systems change. And I know that's why you joined Changemakers at Work.
Yeah.
So we're going to unwrap this baby for you.
Yeah.
So you can
So let's just jump into it. But I'd love you to start with that bigger game focus.
Yeah.
Piece of paper. And I'll just do a little run through of that, and we'll, kind of co-create this.
Yeah. So this one's important. I'm going to put it up.
Yeah. So here's the radical idea, everybody. And this is not popular. You're not going to like this. As a think in that bottom square, by the way, you just put, employee or boss or something, right? Outcomes, right? Like, we need to make more money. We need to double our profits. This is so obvious, right? We just need that outcome to happen, right? A lot of leadership is kind of yelling at people to do it faster. And think about a bad coach on the side of a soccer field or a football team. It's like, run faster, just run faster. You'll score more goals, right?
This is the quarterly goal. This is the thing we have to hit. This is the expense target we have to hit. This is the new product launch date that we have to hit.
Yep.
Right? These are the things that we are running after frantically, by the way.
Yeah.
Frantically. Every client I've talked to in the last 6 months seems to be like frantically running and realizing they just can't keep up.
Yeah. Well, we'll go there in a minute, because that represents another square of where the world is, and that's a philosophy. But so bigger game, you notice, by the way, more focus on the bigger game. Focus on the game, outcomes start to show up.
Yes. So go this direction.
And think of it sort of moonshot like. And I think of an example of Starbucks many years ago during the recession, right? Starbucks, people were buying less coffee because, I'm going to make it at home. It's half the price, but so their numbers were going down. And instead of like, sell more coffee, I'll never forget it. I walked into a Starbucks and they said, millions of Americans are losing their jobs right now. So would you like to donate? We'll match you 50% on a donation, or this coffee we're going to sell today is going to actually help the unemployed of our country. I was like, I know that has the sort of do the right thing kind of energy to it, but I was all in. I'm still talking about it today.
Right.
That's a bigger game. I bought more coffee.
Right. So what did they get? They got more coffee sales, dollars, revenue, because they were playing a bigger game that touched the hearts of their employees, probably, certainly Rick's heart, customers, right? So they're playing a bigger game, and that results in the kinds of outcomes that they wanted.
So that
Yeah.
example, by the way, might sort of like, well, we can't do that. Be careful of turning this into an application moment. Do your best to sort of be in the essence of this and the philosophy of this. And then, of course, working with Melissa and her community, it'll get into the granular, how does this apply to your life, right?
Right. So let's pause here for the first lesson, and then we will continue with your next lesson.